pleasure to have you, sir. Now I request Dr. Nishant Hiramat to address our students. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I know there are a lot of students who are waiting or eager to know about what they need to do, more about what they shouldn't do. I will keep this as more of an interactive session than actually giving a speech on coronavirus. So I will give you a little brief on corona, and then probably we can take it forward with the students who are really eager in asking questions, and let it be an interactive session. Good evening, one and all. I'm Dr. Nishant. We've been managing a lot of patients who are coming to the hospital with COVID and with all devastating state that they are in. This corona actually started in the year 2019 in November in a small town called Wuhan. I think all of you would have known about it. I'm just giving you a little brief. That is how it started. And it had a human-to-human transmission through respiratory droplet infections. And this is a COVID-19 because it happened in 19, and it's a coronavirus, which is probably a severe acute respiratory syndrome virus. That is why it is called SARS-CoV-2, because of the second nature of its thing. It's called CoV-2. So this is how it started in November, and that's how it spread across the globe throughout different countries, and it had reached India. This virus, when it came in, I think last year, exactly last year in March, April, that is how it started in India. And that time, this virus was not that virulent, but definitely you had patients who were having a lot of problem, and their conditions were different, and it was causing death even then. But this virus, because we were trying to study the virus, because it was all new to us, we were trying to take time to understand how this virus can act and how we can treat this patient. I think over a period of time, we've understood how we can treat, but the virus has been even more intelligent in changing its nature. It has become a double mutant. 2 times the mutation has happened for this virus, and that is how it has become more virulent and more faster spreading than the previous one. And this second wave has been a little devastating than the previous, and you can see a lot of deaths, probably because whatever the reasons are, could be a system failure, or could be the way it is managed, or could be failure of the limitations of resources for us. And that is how probably we've lost a lot of patients. But I think we could, if you look at this present scenario, we are actually losing a lot of younger age group, younger strata of people, because these people were exposed to virus since the last year, and because of the mutation of the virus and further exposure has caused more trouble to the youngsters, because all the older generations have taken their vaccines. As and when we continue to have our conversation, I will tell you how important the vaccine is about. So I think most of the students here who think that vaccine is not important, definitely vaccine is going to be important. That is why it is keeping the elderly people very safe, because they were the first ones to get the vaccine, because they were more vulnerable. Now what has happened, the younger age group have become vulnerable, because all the older age group or elderly people have been staying at home and have been vaccinated. The statistics or the percentage of people getting affected are the younger strata of people. So I want you to be safe. And what I would do is I would leave the floor open to people to ask me questions, so that we can take it further one by one. If you could start raising some questions, I would be able to answer that.
Okay. Sir, I have a doubt. There is something called first wave, second wave, and third wave. So what we are seeing from the news is first wave was affecting the older people who are above 50, and second wave middle-aged group, and the third wave it's below 18. So is it true, and how it works, how this wave kind of thing works, why this happens?
See, as I told you, it was like the vulnerable, the immunity was low, and to the people whose immunity was low. Not that the younger start of people in the previous first wave didn't affect them, it affected them as well. The percentage of people were more of elderly people because they were more vulnerable. Okay, that is the first wave. As and when it goes down, and now the second wave happened because you know that vaccines have come and vaccines are given, and the people have taken precautions to stay home and things like that. But the younger start of people haven't done that. Even if the elderly people who've been moving around, you can see that they've also been affected. But the percentage have been more with the youngsters is because they thought nothing is going to happen. I think it is their problem. That is how the second wave happened. Initially, when in India, people thought first wave and second wave have merged and we're not going to have any problems. That is how the government was also not prepared for the second wave. We thought the second wave, it's not me, it's most of the virologists, and they thought, even in spite of they telling that the second wave is going to come in another 2-3 months, the government did not give notice to that. And that is how we are in trouble now, because the vaccinations have not been given to the youngsters. Vaccination have been not completed to the rest of the age groups, and these people have been exposed more than what is required, and because of the mutation it is even more virulent, and that is how the second wave have come up. If you look at it, I think once we do that, because the pediatric age group have or people less than 18 years are going to be affected in the third wave, is again because their immunity can be lower than the ones who've been vaccinated. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. Hello.
Good evening. Please come.
Sir, how, sir, they say that if you have COVID, means we lose our smell and taste sense, right?
Yes.
Sir, is that a clear indication of COVID or what? Because even a person having cold also loses the sense of smell and taste.
See, anything is this in this pandemic, we would probably have upper respiratory tract infection. That would be influenza-like illness, ILI that we talk about. It actually can cause loss of smell or loss of taste, cold, and things like that. Anything otherwise proved, it has to be COVID. So once you proved it, but again, what happens is now at this present scenario, I wouldn't say that if you are negative results, that means you don't have COVID. So I would still prefer you to quarantine yourself for that 10 days and then probably come out, even if the report is negative, is because that is when you would spread the virus to the rest of the people. You may have lost smell and taste, but you could spread the virus as well. Loss of taste and smell could happen in any of the common cold. And this coronavirus is also influenza-like illness.
Sir, even regarding vaccines, sir, many of them saying that after getting vaccine, many of them died. Is that true, sir?
Yes, they have died, is because what happens is the antibody that is required to be generated when you are vaccinated may not have gone up to the extent, and these people are continuously exposed to the COVID in the COVID zone. That is when they would be affected or infected with the virus, and they probably would have had death or probably at their end because of this infection, because their antibodies wouldn't have been strong enough or been better for them to fight the virus.
So then what type of people should not get vaccinated?
What type of people?
Should not get vaccinated.
You're
Means who
talking
should
about
not get
contraindication for patients who should not be vaccinated. I'm not able to get your question.
So means who should not get vaccinated, sir? Means which type of people should not get vaccinated? So
Somebody
that after
who's got allergic reaction to the vaccine should not get vaccinated. Somebody who's pregnant and who's been lactating should not get vaccinated. The rest of the other people are can get vaccinated. There is no actual contraindication. There could be relative contraindication for patients with bleeding disorder and other things, but we've vaccinated about 164 million people in India. So I think it's the largest trial that can happen anywhere across the globe. So most of them who've been vaccinated are reasonably doing good. Okay, only few percentage of people probably for whatever reasons, they've lost their life or probably they've been affected. Any vaccine for that matter will probably have certain side effects which can affect certain strata of people.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
How long will the
Please go
vaccine
ahead.
be effective?
That depends on how the vaccines are taken. Basically, when you start with a vaccine, the first dose, and it's given about 6 weeks apart, 2 doses, and after that 2 weeks only your antibodies will start developing. It remains for up to about 3 to 6 months thereafter. We don't know. It could be there. It need not be there because the antibodies for some would have actually worn off, and even within 4 months, 4.5 months, their antibodies would show low titers. So it can remain up to 6 months.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, madam.
Actually, I was affected by the COVID and I was being in isolation for 20 days. So
Okay.
last 2 days I came out actually. So when
Okay.
I should be vaccinated, sir?
28 days from the day of the infection.
Okay. Oh, pardon, sir?
28 days, 28th day, after 28 days, you can have your vaccination done from the day of the infection.
Okay, okay, sir.
So if I say 1st April, you had infection, 1st May, maybe after 30th May, you can have your vaccination done.
Okay, sir.
But again, you can check your titers because if your antibody titers are good, why would you need a vaccination?
Okay.
Because your antibodies have already taken care of the infection. So that antibodies can remain for a longer time. And when you check your antibodies and it is very low, then you can get vaccinated. Otherwise, your own body antibodies in your immune system will take care of the infection.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. My father is a diabetic. Vaccination, sir.
Can we have some more questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, my father is diabetic patient.
Can you be a little clear? Louder. I'm not able to hear you.
Oh. Excuse me, sir. Can you hear now, sir?
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, my father is a sugar patient. How can he vaccinate, sir? Whether he can take vaccination?
Yes, he can take vaccination. He should have taken vaccination by now. What is his age?
Above 40, sir.
Above?
40.
Okay. No. What is his age now?
Sir, above 40, sir.
Is it 45 or 44?
No, 42 or 41.
Okay, so he needs to wait till the government gives the directive. We were supposed to have the vaccination rolled out in May, but I think tomorrow we have a Zoom meeting with the government. I think tomorrow we will have a clear picture whether we can vaccinate people below 45 years of age.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So steam inhalation and all will really helps in controlling the pandemic.
It will not control the pandemic. It will control the infection that is in you. You probably, any kind of infection, if you have upper respiratory tract infection, if you do a steam inhalation, the virus or bacteria or something will not get stuck to the mucus in your sinuses and your nostrils. If you give some heat and things like that, it can liquefy. and that is how it can bring out the virus or bacteria, which is probably replicating inside that zone.
Thank you,
So
sir.
it will do good to you. You don't have to worry. You can continue doing your steam inhalation, which will keep your passage clear.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, is there any side effects when we get vaccinated?
Anything that enters your body will have side effects, but definitely, I think I told you 164 million people have been vaccinated in India. Forget about globe. I'm just talking about our Indian scenario. And if you look at the statistics, probably the value would be 0.001 who would been affected. But most of them have been safe because it reduces the severity of infection. So don't think twice. I would want all of you to get vaccinated when the government says, please get vaccinated. Okay, don't worry about side effects. Any kind of vaccine that comes in, don't look for a vaccine that it could be Covishield or Covaxin or Pfizer or whichever vaccine. I would suggest that you go ahead and get vaccinated. Don't worry about small side effects that happens. There are definitely side effects like fever, maybe a little high grade fever, some kind of weakness, but definitely all these things are secondary. If you get vaccinated, you're much safe.
Sir, why do we have to wait to nearly 6 weeks to get the vaccines after the first one?
So the efficacy remains for a longer time. If I give you a first dose now, you are letting the body know that there is something that has come into your body, for which the immune system will generate antibodies towards that. Slowly it will generate, and once you're ready, in another 6 weeks, you get a second dose that will amplify your immune system and produce better antibodies. What happened was, if it is given at a very short duration, then your antibodies will remain for a lesser time. It can be 2 months, 3 months. So now, according to the research that has been done, if you give 2 doses in a duration of 6 to 8 weeks, your antibodies will remain for more than 6 months.
Okay, sir.
Hello, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So they say that even the COVID will affect through air. Is it true or what, sir? Or by means by normal communication will it get affect or by the contact, sir?
What do you mean by normal communication?
So means once if you get into contact with a person who is affected with COVID, means that time if it will affect or through air, sir. Many of them are saying that it will affect through air also.
It is a respiratory droplet infection. There are millions of droplets when I'm speaking, when you are speaking. There will definitely be micro droplets which is thrown out of the mouth whenever we are speaking. That droplets will definitely have viruses which can affect the other person. That is why the social distancing of 6 feet is so very important. Even if there is a droplet, it can fall onto the ground and it may not affect you. It may not enter your system through your nostrils. So to keep a distance and wear a mask is so very important for everybody. I can see around a lot of youngsters walking around and riding and driving around without a mask. That is what is going to cause more trouble. And the same people, see, mask is worn not because to protect you. Let me tell you one thing. It is to protect the other people from you. You could be infected. Anything can happen to you. That doesn't mean that you have to affect the rest of the world. So people who wear a mask will be protecting the other people around them more than themselves. Okay, so mask and social distancing very important. It spreads through respiratory droplet infection. And there is also study and research which says that it also happens to aerosol, but WHO is still not accepted it. So we still need a documentation from WHO or the higher authorities like ICMR saying that it can be aerosol generated as well. Your clothes, your papers and things like that. But again, that is not proven. They're still there. They're still looking into it. But definitely it is through droplet infection. So you need to be careful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, is it needed to take antiviral tablet for a COVID patient? Antiviral tablet.
That depends on what stage they are in. And we think that yes, it is a requirement to start them on antiviral tablets or antiviral injections, that the medical fraternity will do it.
Good afternoon, doctor. Even I had a small doubt. Like when we were in the month of April, there were a lot of news which was making the rounds that this COVID is going to hit the peak in the month of May. But now that we have already reached the month of May, it continues saying that it will be in the peak in the month of June. So what is the actual age of any virus? Because there are many articles which say that a virus does not survive beyond 2 years. Is it so true, or what is the actual life of any virus for that matter?
Could you just brief that question for me?
So
What is the actual?
in the month of April, there was a lot of news making rounds that COVID is going to be at the peak in the month of May.
Yes.
And now that we have already reached the month of May, it says that June is going to be at the peak. So what is the actual life of this virus? Does it really survive beyond 2 years, or every virus has a different age category or anything like that?
See, what happens is we are the host for the virus.
Okay.
When the virus gets into a host, it gets a cell, it gets energy and copies everything. It's like a printer. It actually multiplies and replicates with the host that they have. So every time there is a virus, the previous virus, if I have affected you, my virus could only affect about 2.5 people. So that virus will actually die down. But because it would have multiplied the other virus, it will keep multiplying like that when it is reaching people. That is why when you have that, what do you say, the breach in the transmission of the infection, you say that when you don't contact the other person, that is why this lockdown actually helps when people don't meet each other. That is how the spread of infection stops. And whatever the viruses, the previous viruses are there, they can multiply to one extent and they die. They're not letting, what is happening is you're not letting the new viruses or the new replication of viruses to replicate further. That is how you're cutting their chance of multiplying. So that is why this lockdown should be done, because your viruses don't replicate. Otherwise, people, if they distance themselves and stay away from the other set of people, then the viruses will die down faster. Otherwise, this will go on forever. You don't even know. I think 6 months, we thought that we're going to be fine. Now, 6 months in 2021, we're still trying to fight to save lives.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Yes.
I have another question, sir.
Yes.
Nowadays, we see a lot of ads related to immunity, building immunities. So a lot of Ayurvedic ads and tonics, which has been advertised a lot. So what is this immunity all about, and why it differs from one individual to other individual? So how to improve our immunity, if so?
Your immunity will be good enough when you actually keep yourself physically fit. And see, it depends on every individual. When we take 4 people, 5 fingers in a hand itself is not equal. So when you're looking at the other person, he may not be as active as you are, or you may not be as active as the other person. So everybody have a different threshold. So they need to take care of their immunity. Everybody should do that physical exercise, breathing exercise. Okay, that can keep and build your immunity. Eat good food. What is happening with the youngsters these days? They're not actually eating good food. The junk food is actually reducing their immunity, not giving them the healthy diet is actually putting them down. And people put on a lot of weight. Morbid obesity is also something which you need to worry about, because it infects such kind of people. And because of the stress, because of the various conditions like comorbidities like diabetes in young, hypertension in the end. That itself is a stress factor for multiple things, and the virus already getting into you, your immunity will definitely become low. So I would say, as youngsters, you guys should keep yourself physically fit, eat healthy food. Okay. Other than that, I don't think so anything else is going to boost your immunity. I think for age old, I think ages back also people have been eating good food and walking for a long time has kept them alive, not any of those medicines which are presently available now. I wouldn't even say that allopathy is going to give you a better immunity. When we say zinc and vitamin C, I think you all have it in your own food that you need to prepare yourself, like lemon juice and all those things. That will give you a better immunity rather than popping up medicines. I would prefer you to take a healthy diet than popping up any of those allopathy or Ayurveda or any other medicines for that matter.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I heard that people prefer Covishield rather than taking Covaxin. So what's the difference, sir? Like most of them are telling instead of taking Covaxin, it's better to take Covishield.
Okay. It's all the trial that is going on across the country, okay, and the globe. We as healthcare workers in India, I told you, more than 164 million people have been vaccinated already. Okay. And 17 million have already taken the second dose. We've all been taking Covishield. We didn't have Covaxin that time. Now the Covaxin has come. I would probably tell you that there is a small little difference, which may not actually cause any problem to any of the percentage of people who are taking Covishield or Covaxin. I would suggest that you people, whatever vaccine you get, I would want you to take it rather than choosing the vaccines, because availability is less. I would prefer you to take any kind of vaccine. Covishield, if I say, is actually from a adenovirus, from a chimpanzee derived virus, which is a denatured virus, which is injected in you and can cause little side effects, just like the Covaxin. Covaxin is from a dead virus, which is taken out, and then the antibodies, these viruses are given so that the antibodies are generated in the body. So both have different way of approach, but both stimulate the immune system to generate the antibodies. So I don't think so you have to worry about it. Whatever is available, I feel that you guys should go ahead and take it.
Sir, actually, I wanted to know how did the COVID evaluate, sir? Like from 2.0 versions, and how did it get to that?
I didn't get you. What 2.0 version?
Like COVID from normal to it got evaluated, right, sir? So how did that happen?
See, virus is something, it's an intelligent organism. It can get onto the host, and we've been pumping in a lot of drugs to the patients as well. So these viruses have so much of intelligence that they can change and mutate. Their normal behavior is to change and mutate. Okay, and that is why we don't find drugs for the viral infections. We find drugs for the bacterial infections. Bacterial infections are more, the bacteria are more thick-walled. Viruses are thin-walled, and they keep changing their structure every now and then. What the structure is there today may not be there tomorrow. So even when we find a vaccine for viruses, 6 months before that, it may have changed its virulence. It would have changed its structure. So, but that does not mean this vaccine is completely useless. It definitely will reduce the replication of the virus and reduce the severity of infection. Okay, so from the previous virus, 2 times it is mutated. When they have checked the virus, they've done a research on the virus. It shows that 2 times it is mutated. That is how fast it is. Every 6 months it can mutate, or every 3 months it can mutate. So that is what has happened. And the virus that they've got, different strains that they have got, which have been more stronger and more virulent and has been devastating, has been different. If it would have changed its virulence to a more milder form, maybe we wouldn't have seen all these things what we have seen. But I think even the humans are the cause for its change so fast as well. And plus the way we would have treated those patients and pumped in so many antivirals and drugs to them, these viruses would have been intelligent enough to change over to something to protect themselves. And that is how they have come out in a more stronger position now. Okay.
Sir, does it also spread through like objects? Like if I'm staying in the same room and I have got COVID and I'm locked inside the room, I'll be using the same bedspread and bed sheets and the same objects, bottle and everything. So by curing myself, and will I be getting it back again?
If you are infected and you have a person who is non-infected, obviously he will definitely get infected, whether through droplet infection or through aerosols. That's what I told you that time, that the aerosol part of it is not still completely accepted by the WHO and the ICMR, but probably is known to transmit. That is why we don't get the case sheets out from the COVID side. We keep it there, and we only have a virtual connection where we don't even get any of those papers or anything out of those areas. Okay, it can happen. So whether it could be because the virus is everywhere, and if you're lying down on it and droplet infections have fallen on that, obviously it will definitely cause the infection to spread. So you would want to avoid that.
Sir, once we get the virus and we are treated by it, get immune, does our white blood cells gain the power to fight it if we are getting again?
There's something called as T cells and all which fight the viruses. The white blood cells are the ones which fight the bacteria and things like that. So when the total count is going up, that means there is a bacterial infection also along with the viral infections. Okay, it's a mediated immunity cell response to the T cells that happens.
Sir, whenever a patient is affected, most of the time we are seeing that during their treatment, they get heart attacks and all. Is it true? While getting the treatment, COVID patients will get heart attacks and all?
Yes, one it happens because of the thromboembolic phenomena that is there, where the blood is known to clot. That is what happens when the virus also infects the human beings. And there is a clotting that happens, and that can go clot the blood vessels in the heart, and that is how patients will have heart attack. One. Second, probably because of so much of infection, and the oxygenation is not reaching the heart and the rest of the other vital organs, it can cause further injury to the heart or the brain or to the kidney because the oxygenation is not happening. That is when there can be a heart attack as well. So in these two conditions, it can happen. Definitely the COVID is known to cause clotting of the blood and causing heart attack. That is called myocardial infarction.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Yes.
in a CT scan, it will be identified as a mild corona infection. What can a person do to get rid of it being at home, like staying at home only? Sir?
If somebody, okay, I'll tell you what happens with the COVID. If you have 80% of people could be asymptomatic, okay, only about 15 to 20% are very moderate to severe who requires hospitalization. So this 80% panic, and that is how they reach the hospital, denying the bed to the patients who really require the admissions into the hospital. 80% asymptomatic who's developed mild fever or something like that. The moment you hear COVID and you're positive, people start panicking and they have fear. Okay. And this fear is going to get onto them. And every time they will be thinking, looking at the news, you can understand that WhatsApp is much more virulent and faster producing infection than the coronavirus. Do you guys know about it? WhatsApp does cause more problems than the coronavirus itself. Because a lot of people look at WhatsApp and look at a lot of information which is put on WhatsApp. And the moment they have COVID, they start fearing for their lives. And even in spite of being normal, they reach out to the hospital and they want to get admitted. And that is how they are denying beds and the oxygen to the patients who really require it. This panic situation should be avoided. And 80% of people who have been asymptomatic should stay home, quarantined in a room, do your normal activity inside a room so that you don't spread that virus to others. That is the only thing that you need to do. The moment you know you have little symptoms, quarantine yourself. And you can get your blood test done after 5 days because the incubation period is about 5 to 6 days. So 5 days later, if you think your fever is not coming down, cough is not coming down, you've developed a lot of high spiking of fever, and you've lost smell, loss of taste, you probably can get a test done at the end of 5th day or 6th day. You don't have to, the day you develop symptom, you don't have to come running to the hospital or to the center to get a COVID test done. Most of the time what happens, it'll be negative initially because the viral replication wouldn't have happened. Your virus would have probably not duplicated, replicated. The load wouldn't have been there enough. So you will have a false negative result for a RT-PCR. So what happens there, you will think, okay, it's a common cold. Somebody will tell you, okay, move around, no problem. But you will be infecting the rest of the family members. And that is when they become sick, you guys retest or you come back and test for everybody will be positive. So I would prefer the moment you have small, little bit of common cold, little fever, dry cough, or cough with some sputum, fatigue, weakness, and you probably have diarrhea or something, quarantine yourself for 5 days. 5th or 6th day, you get your RT-PCR done. If it is negative, then no problem. And you don't have symptoms. You continue to have symptoms, quarantine yourself for 10 days. That is the best way to kill the virus. And you definitely have, you youngsters will definitely have good immunity. You should be able to fight the virus and drink plenty of fluids. Do not panic. Whenever you think that you are feeling a little breathless, you can sleep on your tummy down. That is called proning. Proning is something, awake proning is something so useful. Even normally when you're going to sleep now, you still can sleep on your tummy down and sleep so that the oxygenation of your lungs get better. You can do breathing exercises. You can do physical exercises, jogging or walking or something inside your premises, so that you don't come in contact with people, but you still can do all these exercises, breathing exercises that prevents your, betters your immunity as well and prevents any further worsening of the infection. Okay. The moment you have COVID, that does not mean you have to lie down in one place, wear a bed sheet and lie down, not switch on the fan, not ventilate yourself. That is when the infection can spread faster. When your body is doing physical exercise, the blood circulation will keep happening. The inflammatory markers, which will, the antibodies also will produce, the immune system will become active. Every part of your body will become active to fight the virus and throw the virus out. I would prefer you not to lie down like a patient the moment you are COVID positive. And that does not mean Dr. Nishant is told we can move around anywhere. No, you are not going to move around. You're going to be in your own premises, in your own room quarantine, and you're going to do all these exercises and probably physical exercise and stay safe. Hope that answered your question.
Yes, sir. Sir, like most of the teenagers do have diabetic and thyroid issues. Do they take the vaccine? Like, I don't think so. It's going to affect. Like, does any effects from that?
No, anybody above 18, and if the moment government announces that the vaccines are available, even if they are diabetic, they have thyroid issues, they have undergone heart surgery, they have undergone any kind of surgeries, no problem. You don't have to worry. You can continue taking these vaccines.
Sir,
it's been safe.
Does COVID affect us to smokers a lot, like who regularly smoke? Because recently I saw in TV9 that smokers don't get affected. This is a news that was spreading. So I just wanted to ask.
Are you a smoker?
No, sir.
Okay. So it does affect the smokers as well. Okay. Virus is not going to let anybody stay alive.
No, sir.
It will come in. Maybe the percentage of people will be less. Okay. But there are people who have been smokers who have been affected as well. So keep away from smoking.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
sir, some people test positive for COVID, but without any symptoms. Why is that so, sir?
See, your body immunity is such that you would have been fighting the virus, and the protein that is there in the virus would be detected by the RT-PCR. There are genes that are detected, N gene, S gene, and RT gene, all would have been detected. That is how you would have been positive without any symptoms. But you will definitely have the viruses which can spread to the people. So if you are RT-PCR positive, you also have to quarantine for 10 days without any questions, so that you don't spread the infection to others. You may not have anything, you may not develop any symptoms, you may not develop any complications, but if you spread that virus to others, people who have low immunity can have replication of virus to the maximum and can affect their well-being.
Sir, if COVID patient first is tested positive, after 10 days quarantine and all, again he has to get tested to confirm whether it is cleared or not?
He need not do that unless they have to go back to the hospital or to the office or to the college. They need to get it tested. Otherwise, they're staying at home, they need not get it tested.
Okay.
Because after about 10-12 days, the virus loses its nature and it will not be able to replicate.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, once we get affected and we are cured, within how many days can we get affected again, sir?
That depends on your antibodies in your immune system, how good they are and how long they can develop these antibodies and how long it can keep you safe. So probably when we look at it, if somebody is infected, 2 months later, we've tested most of their antibodies. It's probably come down to 0, and that they definitely will get reinfected. That is how the second wave are being looked at, that after the first wave, the reinfection rates will go up. But here the infection rates to the youngsters have gone up rather than reinfection rates.
Okay, sir.
So any other questions?
Sir, apart from allopathy, some Ayurvedic and homeopathies are also telling that they have some proven medicines to control this COVID and all. Is it really true and really helping?
See, I would not talk about what others have. As I told you a little earlier, your immunity will be something which will take care of. Probably you drink warm water, you drink lemon juice, do at least twice a day steam inhalation, probably salt water gargle once a day if you're not infected. If you're infected, twice a day, so that any virus or bacteria which is there can get killed because of the nature of the salt and its content. And for lemon is going to be good for the body, like vitamin C, which is definitely rejuvenating the cells in the body. That is why it should be, it is required. You don't have to go in for medicines. You have all natural things that can give you better immunity. Why would you want to go for medications outside?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
As far as I know, in our thing, we drink, what I do and what my kids and my family do is we drink lemon juice, warm water, okay? And that keeps us going. Maybe milk, turmeric, a little bit of pepper. Don't do that too much because turmeric is going to increase the heat. Pepper is going to cause more of gastritis. So be very careful. When I tell you something, it has to be limited. Everything should be under the limits. You can't do overboard. I will just give you an example. We had a lot of dengue patients previously. We had a lot of dengue infections, as you know, 2 years back. And a lot of patients used to come. We used to tell them to drink, probably people wanted to say that papaya leaves will increase the platelets. So they were told that, okay, you can drink little bit of papaya leaf juice. There was one patient who came in with a lot of gastritis and even bleeding. when we realized they were drinking 1 liter of that papaya juice to increase the platelets. Actually, that is kind of devastating for the patient and going to cause more problem to people. So I would say whatever you do it under the limit.
Okay, thank you.
So can a pregnant woman get vaccinated?
Pregnancy and lactating people, it would be preferable to avoid unless you have to weigh pros and cons. You can say that giving a vaccine would be much better for this lady and it is going to be beneficial than the risk. I would want to give it. But unless and until proved otherwise, you wouldn't want to take that risk thinking that it is going to be beneficial. We would want to avoid it. So most research says that you avoid for a pregnant and a lactating mother.
Okay, sir.
But recently I heard a news in Andhra Pradesh, there is a mutated virus, which is Indian mutated virus, and how vaccines now, which has been created before mutation, is effective, and how long will it go, sir? When it will be getting
how long
mutated.
will the infection go?
The virus thing, the present situation we are in, when will it end approximately? I mean, it's hard to say, but as per your estimation.
Definitely hard to say because the way it is going and the way people are behaving, even now I can tell you, I can send you pictures where people do not wear a mask and are moving around everywhere. How do you expect the virus to understand you? So I don't know how long it's going to take for people to, for the infection to come down, but I think it's a new norm of life. We probably have to stay with it and stay together and probably at a distance. So probably the mask, the social distancing, the hand wash, hand rub. Once you're coming from outside, you would want to keep yourself hygienic by taking a shower, taking a bath, putting your clothes for wash. That is also most important. So virus can only stop if the whole of the country develops herd immunity and everybody have developed infection and everybody in this country have had infection and developed antibodies, then probably the virus may end. And you know the way the viruses are replicating, even our population are replicating. So I don't see an end to this unless we at our own community or the house level, we stop spreading it to others by following just 3 norms of life, by wearing a mask, social distancing. You don't have to meet unless it is required, unless it's an emergency. So you can avoid that, and probably hand wash and trying to get your fingers close to your face would be prevented. If you look at it, 2,500 times in a day that we will touch our face is what research says. So you can understand how many times unknowingly we would have touched our face and our nose. So all these things actually will take account, and let's see, hope for good. Let's see that we don't lose more lives and try and avoid and let this pandemic wear off.
So the first vaccine would be Covishield. The second one should be Covishield only, or can they take the other one, sir, like Covaxin?
It has to be Covishield. As I told you, it is a denatured adenovirus. But for Covaxin, it is a dead virus. So both act at a different way. It's kind of thing, it will not actually develop complete immunity for you when you give 2 different vaccines. And it is not advisable to have 2 different vaccines.
Okay, sir.
Any more questions, students? Else we could wind up the session by not wasting doctor's precious time. Any more questions, students? Okay, now I request Professor Badrinath to take over to render the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I, Badrinath, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Sadhana Degree College, extend the vote of thanks. On behalf of the Sadhana Degree College and all the students, I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. Nishant Hiremat sir, for taking his precious time out and consenting to be the chief guest sir. Indeed, your words have helped the students to face the pandemic. Thank you, sir. And also, I thank our principal, Professor Sirajur Rahman sir, and Vice Principal, Dr. Ajay R sir, for their guidance and encouragement. And also, I would like to thank all our teaching and non-teaching staff for their support. Last but not least, I thank all the students for showing their interest in the program. I once again thank everyone for making the program successful. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.